Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing a short tutorial on how to do the flip reset Musty. So we're going to start by going over a couple things. I'm going to go over the setup, then I'm going to give you a couple tips and tricks, some pointers, things you need to look out for, and then of course I'll give you some examples and maybe even a replay or two to go over, and we'll go from there. So before we start, I'm going to show you what it looks like, what I'm talking about. So I did miss the net, but there you go, that's a flip reset Musty. Now in terms of the setup, the first thing you want to know is where on the wall you're setting up from. I find it easiest for every freestyling move to set up somewhere here on the wall because it puts you closer to the net, and when you're closer to the net it's just easier to score. The only problem is if you're in game there's no boost here, so that leaves you with the mid boost. It's going to be most difficult to set it up off of the back corner boost. All that aside, if you're just practicing in free play, the easiest place to set up is somewhere about here. Okay. And then you want to just make sure that you're hitting the ball up the wall. Now, I want to point out that if you can't do a flip reset, then you shouldn't practice this at all because this is a flip reset Musty tutorial. This will also help you with double flip resets, by the way, if you don't know how to do that already. So, like I said, if you want to set up somewhere, right here is the best place because look at how much height you get, and then you just have so much time to do whatever you want, right? So, right here in between the two boosts, and you just go straight up. Okay? You may want to put a little bit of forward tilt on it, that way you just go, at least towards the net, especially if you're in game. But if you're in free play, don't be afraid to just set up going straight up, and you don't have to worry about scoring the ball right now. So, the next thing you need to be aware of is you need to get your reset, and you need to get the reset while the ball is still going up. So if you watch as I'm getting these resets here, I'm boosting pretty hard to get back up to the ball. Okay, I'm not boosting all the way, but I'm feathering the boost quite heavily to catch up with the ball and get a reset before it comes back down. And that's so that your car stays really close to the ball. So one more time. See that? And see how it kicks my car substantially lower than the ball? That's very important. If your car, let's see if I can do it badly. If you wait to get this reset and you're too close, you're going to hit it with the back of your car, or you're just going to get a flubby reset. It's not going to be a flubby flick, it's not going to be very good. So just to reiterate, make sure you're chasing the ball up into the air to get your first reset. Okay, so if you can chase down the ball and get this reset quickly, I'm doing it naturally, but your first step after that is to turn your car over, back facing normally. So you'll just turn over like this. So again, this is from a random place, but it's fine. Get your reset, turn over. Just hold. I'm using arrow left. You can use arrow right. Does not matter. Just after you get reset, hold that button down, turn over. Very simple. Okay. Reset, turn over. Now, as long as you're doing that, you know the rest. When it comes to doing a Musty, you turn over and then you just do a little backflip. Easy peasy, right? But the other nuance that I want to talk about here is that when you get your reset, you turn over and you go back, you may need to boost actually away from the ball. So when I turn backwards like this, I'm going to hold boost while I'm doing the backflip, but only for a certain section of it. And that section of it is going to be while I'm rotating, while the car is looking this way, so that I can boost away from the ball just a little bit. Okay, so there's a good example of me boosting backwards to properly align my car. Now you may have noticed that particular Musty was very powerful and went very high, and if you're interested in doing flip reset Musty double taps, where you get a lot of power on the ball, a key component to that movement is you need to make sure that your car and ball are not traveling in exactly the same direction when you do the flick. So what I mean by that is, for example, if you have a flick on your car and you just flip forward straight, it works. The flick does happen, it does flick the ball, but there's not a whole lot of power to it because one, the corners of the car are not hitting it, and the change of direction is not strong enough to induce power. If you don't already know, to get power in the game, you need a substantial change of direction on the ball, as well as a corner touch. So if you're just going up for a flick like this, you see it does flick, but it's just not a very good flick. However, as soon as you add in any amount of change of direction and even a corner hit, the flick becomes substantially better, right? Substantially more powerful. So the process is the same with the Musty flick. Now the way I would set this up is you need to make sure, like for example, if you hit the ball straight up, that when you go for this Musty flick, you're slightly off center. You see that? You see how I'm not going the same direction as the ball? So one way you can do that is if you kind of get a reset slightly off to the side of the ball like this, and then you can get a large, see that was crazy right there. And these are pretty easy to practice. It's just that when you go up for the ball, you're kind of going outside of it, you know? The same way that you would for a double flip reset. That's why I said it can help you learn double flip resets. Perfect, just like that. Okay, so I brought you into this replay so we can watch everything slow down, and I'll just point out some things while the play is happening that you need to be focusing on here. So as you see, we're taking it from the mid boost because we're in game in this case. Try to take the ball as vertical as we can while giving us a little bit of room. We orientate our car to get the reset as quickly as possible. You can see we're using a good amount of boost here just to get a hard reset. See how we land on the ball with lots of power there? Really kicks our car off. Then we immediately turn back over, and I actually expedite the process and start rotating. So here we're completely upside down, completely flat, and that's where we initiate the flip, and this is going to give us a really powerful Musty. Now look, if you'll notice, my car is not parallel to the ground, so we're going to get a corner touch here. And if you can't already tell, this is a double tap situation, so the rest of the play doesn't really matter, but it's a very satisfying shot. But I'm going to go back and you can see what's happening in the Musty interaction again. Just how we get there. Oh, let me go back better. So after you get your reset, you're getting it on the way up, it should kick your car down pretty hard. Then you just rotate over, and you can expedite the process a little bit once you get more comfortable. Now again, I just want to point out that the flip is happening when we're completely upside down. Directly upside down. Just like that. Now I'm going to show you a quick drill and free play that you can do if you're not fully comfortable with reset musties, especially just a musty flick in the air. And all that I'm saying to do is delete the reset part and just fly to the ceiling. So if you do a ceiling shot instead of a reset, it gives you more time to think about what you need to do to get a good musty. You have more time where you can float, whereas instead of having to worry about like really getting the reset and orientating your car and all that stuff. If you're not comfortable with the musty part, and you're really struggling with that, try doing some ceiling musty flicks, and it'll transfer over into the resets just fine. You won't have to worry about it. Anyway, that's the end of my tutorial. I know it's a little bit scatterbrained, but like I've said in all my other tutorials, it really does just come down to practice. So let me know if this was any help, and I'll see you next time. Peace.